is possible that the ancient astronauts taught the Egyptians that mummification was a way of preserving their genetic information in the DNA.
DNA sequencing of Egyptian King Tutankhamun has uncovered a chilling truth in the world of history. But what secret has been revealed? And how will this change the way we view one of the rulers of the ancient world? Join us to find out. The boy king who slept in gold. When people reflect on the ancient civilization of Egypt, one particular individual stands out amidst all others: Tutankhamun, the youthful pharaoh. His reign was brief and gentle, commencing when he was just a child of 9 and concluding before his 20th birthday. Nonetheless, his narrative has captivated the imaginations of people worldwide for more than a century. For millennia, his name remained hidden beneath layers of sand and hushed by the passage of time, nearly erased from the annals of history. He did not achieve greatness through conquest like Ramses, nor did he leave behind monumental architectural wonders like Khufu. His era did not produce grand temples or celebrated triumphs, but destiny had other plans in store. What went overlooked by history was ultimately safeguarded by chance. The rediscovery of Tutankhamun's story started many centuries later, during the early 1900s. The Valley of the Kings, where Egypt's most powerful kings were laid to rest, had already been explored and looted by both archaeologists and thieves. From 1905 to 1914, a man named Theodore Davis had the permission to excavate there. He uncovered various tombs, including those belonging to Yuya and Thuya, the parents of Queen Ta. However, as time passed, Davis began to lose faith. The tombs he discovered were intriguing but not particularly remarkable. He did find some items with Tutankhamun's name on them: small knobs, handles, and a selection of embalming materials. Thinking that he had already found the lost tomb of the young pharaoh, he announced that the Valley of the Kings had been thoroughly explored. He was completely mistaken. In 1907, the emergence of British archaeologist Howard Carter added a new dimension to the narrative. Employed by Lord Carnarvon, an affluent Englishman with a keen interest in Egypt, Carter initiated his quest in the valley. Over a span of years, the duo devoted their efforts to the expedition, making gradual progress with small findings that failed to make a significant impact. Despite facing setbacks, Carter remained steadfast in his conviction that Tutankhamun's tomb was buried somewhere beneath the desert landscape. He embarked on a meticulous and prolonged exploration in 1915 that lasted for 7 years. The valley was scorching, serene, and dusty. Many on his team were skeptical about finding anything. Despite doubts, Carter persevered. Finally, in the early part of November in 1922, his determination bore fruit. During the process of removing debris and rubble, an employee stumbled upon the upper part of a staircase hidden beneath the layers of sand. Carter instructed the crew to excavate cautiously. As they progressed, each step unveiled additional mystery. Eventually, the stairs led to a locked door, adorned with the symbols of a monarch, Tutankhamun. What came next would be remembered as a significant event in the annals of archaeology. Carter created a tiny opening in the door and looked inside using a candle. Inside, he was met with the sight of gold and various treasures that had remained undisturbed for millennia. The tomb remained undisturbed, with its seal still intact. It seemed as though time had frozen to safeguard the final resting place of the young king. The world was left in awe upon witnessing the full opening of the doorway. The tomb, now identified as KF62, contained astonishing treasures that surpassed all expectations. Within its walls were golden shrines placed one on top of the other, exquisite alabaster statues, chariots, weapons, and bejeweled collars. 020 to 030. Every nook was adorned with chairs, beds, and small statues, all adorned with a layer of precious gold that shimmered under the lamplight like the sun's rays on the Nile. The funerary mask, crafted from solid gold and embellished with colored stones and blue glass, was considered the most stunning treasure. Its serene and lovely countenance came to represent Egypt as a whole, offering a glimpse into a bygone era. The remarkable thing about this finding was the excellent state of preservation. Unlike many royal tombs in the Valley of the Kings that were plundered long ago, Tutankhamun's tomb remained intact. It was a stroke of luck that his burial site was concealed, Construction debris from a neighboring tomb camouflaged the entrance. Subsequently, workers erected huts over the buried entrance, unwittingly safeguarding it from looters and adventurers for over 3 millennia. Each item discovered had a unique tale to tell, tales of belief, affection, and dedication that transcends time. The elaborate animal-shaped beds made of gold hinted at the luxurious paradise the Egyptians anticipated in the afterlife. The presence of weaponry and chariots hinted at the young pharaoh's aspirations for power and triumph even in the afterworld. The containers, adornments, and garments exhibited the exquisite artistry of the Egyptians. Each element was a glimpse into a forgotten era, rediscovered in serene stillness. Tutankhamun's burial chamber was not as grand as those belonging to other rulers, 030 to 040, but it held significant historical value. It provided insight into the daily lives of royals in the 18th dynasty of Egypt. The tomb revealed the luxurious lifestyle of kings, the way they were revered in death, and the profound spiritual beliefs of the ancient Egyptians regarding the afterlife. But how did the history community respond to the discovery? Stay with us. The mystery that captured the world. The global allure was immediate. Journals worldwide featured stories of the valuable treasures Howard Carter had revealed. The radiant face of Tutankhamun, displaying serene eyes and flawless characteristics, was ubiquitous. Individuals who previously showed no interest in ancient history now discussed the young ruler whose burial site had remained undisturbed for centuries. Egypt, a country already shrouded in mystery and folklore, captured the minds of people around the world. However, the initial thrill quickly transformed into a more ominous feeling. After the unexpected death of Lord Carnarvon, the financial backer of the expedition, just a couple of months following the opening of the tomb, rumors of a curse began to circulate. According to speculation, Tutankhamun was exacting revenge from beyond the grave on those who disrupted his eternal rest. Reports of peculiar mishaps and unexplained illnesses affecting those who entered the tomb further fueled the anxiety. Despite experts dismissing the notion as mere superstition, the anecdotes injected an exciting element into the uncovering of the tomb. Tutankhamun's burial chamber offered contemporary society a mix of intrigue, elegance, and peril, fulfilling its desires. The significance extended beyond riches and wealth, resonating with history and its essence. However, beyond the opulence, fresh inquiries emerged. The identity of this youthful monarch entombed in a compact, hastily constructed structure puzzled many. What circumstances led to his premature demise before adulthood? The treasures told stories of wealth and faith, but not of the boy himself. His mask revealed grace, but his bones held the real truth. Secrets that science would spend decades trying to uncover. Even today, the world still looks at that golden face and wonders about the fragile king who became immortal. The silent secrets of a boy king. The finding of Tutankhamun's tomb provided insight into ancient Egyptian burial practices. The riches found in the tomb reflected their strong beliefs in the afterlife, their worship of the deities, and their appreciation for aesthetics. However, along with each answer came new mysteries to ponder. One lingering question that has persisted for over 100 years is the mystery surrounding the untimely death of the boy king of Egypt. Since the 1920s, there has been a lingering question surrounding the unwrapping of the mummy. Howard Carter and his team, using outdated tools and techniques, failed to grasp the delicacy of the body. Their enthusiasm for research led to unintentional harm that would hinder future studies for many years. The body suffered broken bones and was coated in resin, making thorough examination extremely challenging. Of all the fractures, a particular one on the skull captured significant interest. One of the most famous theories in archaeology emerged from that particular detail, the theory that Tutankhamun was actually assassinated. Many people speculated that someone had fatally struck the young king on the head, thus cutting short his life prematurely. This idea gained traction because Egypt was in a state of turmoil and power struggles at the time. Akhenaten, Tutankhamun's father, had caused confusion by shutting down temples and enforcing the worship of a single deity, Aten. Upon Akhenaten's death, the kingdom was thrown into chaos. Tutankhamun, who was just 9 years old, was thrust onto the throne amidst the disarray. He was surrounded by influential advisors, generals, and priests who likely manipulated him as a mere puppet. If he attempted to assert his independence, there was a possibility of creating adversaries. In a society where power was frequently acquired through treachery, a clandestine elimination would not have been seen as extraordinary. Throughout a significant portion of the 1900s, this concept captivated academics and the general population. The notion of a plot within the royalty, a young monarch deceived by his inner circle, added to the tragedy and mystery surrounding Tutankhamun's narrative. As science progressed, the quest for knowledge also evolved. Advancements in technology enabled scientists to investigate further, moving past the myths. During the early 2000s, thorough CT scans of the mummy unveiled a surprising discovery. The injury to the skull was not from a deadly strike. Instead, it seemed to have occurred post-mortem, possibly due to Carter's rough treatment or the dense embalming materials. The assassination theory was called into question with a new discovery. Soon after, a different theory emerged regarding Tutankhamun's death, the possibility of a fatal chariot accident. The scans revealed injuries such as broken ribs and a damaged leg, which aligned with the narrative of a young king suffering injuries from a fall or chariot crash. It painted a vivid picture of Egypt's golden boy meeting a tragic end in a sudden accident. This alternative explanation captured the attention of many and made waves in the media for a period of time. Science continued to make progress despite obstacles. Upon closer examination of the bones, scientists discovered that the fractures did not align with those typically seen in high-speed accidents. The injuries were actually old or occurred after death. A new narrative started to emerge, revealing a less sensational but more relatable truth. Tutankhamun was not a robust or healthy individual. He struggled with a club foot that caused him pain while walking. Evidence in his spine and bones indicated signs of illness. His physical condition showed vulnerability rather than strength. DNA analysis provided more definitive information. The examination revealed that the young pharaoh had evidence of malaria, a severe disease during ancient times. In addition to his weak bones and physical abnormalities, it was evident that he was chronically ill during his brief existence. His demise was not likely due to treachery or mishap, but rather from the inability of physicians in his era to treat his illness and frailty. However, there was still one puzzling question left unanswered. What was the reason behind Tutankhamun's initial weakness? Even though Egypt had seen mighty rulers who had long reigns and constructed impressive structures, this young king appeared to have been burdened with a body plagued by ailments. Researchers shifted their focus from just his own life to his genetic lineage. DNA analysis showed that Tutankhamun was the offspring of relatives, probably the result of a marriage between his father, Akhenaten, and one of his sisters. These marriages among royals were frequent, as they were intended to maintain the pharaoh's divine lineage. However, they also posed significant dangers. Continuous interbreeding over multiple generations could result in serious genetic disorders, potentially weakening the most powerful bloodlines. Tutankhamun's health issues, such as his club foot and premature death, could have been consequences of prioritizing the purity of royal blood. To fully grasp the essence of Tutankhamun, it is necessary to delve deeper than just his extravagant burial place and demise. Stick around. The bloodline behind the golden mask. His existence was heavily influenced by the tumultuous and revolutionary Amarna period in ancient Egyptian history. This was the time of his predecessor, Pharaoh Akhenaten, whose rule had a lasting impact on Egypt's religious and governmental structures. Egypt had a long history of worshipping multiple gods, with temples and priests devoted to deities such as Amun, Osiris, Isis, and Hathor. The religion played a central role in the everyday lives of the people, influencing activities ranging from agriculture to celebrations. However, Akhenaten decided to disrupt this tradition by introducing the concept of worshipping a single god, Aten, represented by the sun's radiant disk. He took bold steps like shutting down temples of the old gods, redistributing the resources of the priesthood, and establishing a new capital city solely for the worship of Aten. It was an ambitious vision that resulted in disorder. The formerly powerful and wealthy priests of Amun witnessed their authority diminish. Ancient temples lay deserted after standing for countless years, The common people of Egypt, accustomed to praying to numerous deities for safety, were left bewildered and anxious. Akhenaten's radical religious transformation not only altered beliefs, but also destabilized the core of Egyptian civilization. After Akhenaten's death, Egypt was in disarray and filled with doubt. A young child, Tutankhamun, took the throne at the age of just 9. He not only gained the crown, but also the responsibility of bringing peace back to a fractured land. Supported by knowledgeable counselors and military leaders, he represented a resurgence and reconciliation. With their assistance, the ancient temples were once again accessible, and the populace resumed their customary devotions. Tutankhamun's name transformation symbolized a significant change in belief. Originally named Tutankhaten, which meant living image of Aten, his name was altered to Tutankhamun, translating to living image of Amun, signifying a return to traditional worship and reverence for Egypt's ancient gods. This alteration conveyed the restored connection to Egypt's foundational principles and the renewed respect for the deities of past generations. However, beneath the surface of this renovation was an intricate and intimate tale, the mystery surrounding Tutankhamun's lineage. The iconic Nefertiti, wife of his father, is a well-known figure from ancient times, depicted in a renowned bust that continues to captivate countless individuals. Nonetheless, the question of whether she was Tutankhamun's biological mother has sparked discussions across various eras. The art during Akhenaten's era portrayed the royal family in intimate settings, characterized by soft lines and unique beauty. This artwork sparked curiosity about the identity of the children depicted alongside the royal couple and the queen who bore the boy destined to become pharaoh. While some speculated that Nefertiti was his mother, others contested this idea, proposing that it could have been a different, less recognized wife, or even a royal sibling. The mystery deepened as Tutankhamun's tomb unveiled more than just riches. It also held heartache. In the tomb, researchers discovered the preserved bodies of 2 infant daughters who had died at birth. These tragic figures were buried next to their youthful father, serving as quiet reminders of a lineage cut short. Tutankhamun and his spouse, Ankhesenamun, who happened to be his half-sister, did not have any children who lived beyond infancy. Following the unexpected passing of her husband, Ankhesenamun was left to navigate a hostile environment on her own. Struggling with her circumstances, she reached out to a foreign king, the ruler of the Hittites, requesting that one of his sons be sent to Egypt to wed her and share the throne. This unusual request revealed the vulnerable state of the royal family at the time. The correspondence, now preserved in the Hittite records, however, her scheme never came to fruition. The envoy dispatched by the Hittite Empire to Egypt was allegedly assassinated before his arrival, likely by those opposed to outside influence. Subsequently, the reins of power were seized by military commanders and counselors. The prosperous era of the Amarna dynasty came to an end, ushering in a new ruling lineage. The lineage of Tutankhamun has long been a focal point for Egyptologists seeking to grasp the complexities of his era. During the Amarna period, when Egypt briefly embraced monotheism, significant repercussions were felt. Tutankhamun's rule marked a shift towards stability, yet it also highlighted the consequences of excessive divine aspirations and royal seclusion. Historians in the late 20th century were able to uncover many details about Tutankhamun's history, yet there were still unanswered questions. The identity of Tutankhamun's mother, the reasons behind his delicate body and small tomb, and the brevity of his reign all puzzled experts. Inscriptions from ancient times did not provide any clues, leading contemporary scientists to investigate the mysteries that time had obscured. Subsequent genetic research would reveal startling revelations, proving that Tutankhamun was born to a sibling relationship, with both parents tracing their lineage back to Akhenaten. The royal lineage's insistence on maintaining pure divine blood had resulted in a cycle of vulnerability and sickness. Years of intermarriages within the family had led to a troubling inheritance of physical abnormalities and poor health, possibly determining the tragic end of the young pharaoh. Secrets written in blood. Historians and archaeologists had thoroughly explored all of ancient Egypt's historical documents by the close of the 20th century in an attempt to uncover the true origins of King Tutankhamun. They meticulously analyzed temple walls, deciphered inscriptions, and scrutinized every artifact discovered in his tomb, but the elusive answers continued to elude them. The depictions in the paintings were too cryptic, the hieroglyphics too obscure, and the complexities of the royal family's connections too intricate to unravel. Speculations abounded, yet none could be definitively verified. The identity of Tutankhamun's mother remained a mystery. His frail constitution posed questions, and the premature end of his reign raised suspicions. These inquiries persisted like echoes, drifting through the corridors of time. The search for answers shifted away from ancient texts and inscriptions to focus on the young pharaoh. Scientists believed that the truth might be found within him. In the beginning of the 21st century, Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities initiated a groundbreaking project, a genetic examination of the country's royal mummies. This marked the first instance of modern technology delving into the past to unveil secrets obscured by history. The scientists came up with a bold strategy. They proposed collecting small tissue samples from the ancient Egyptian pharaohs' mummies to study their DNA. By analyzing the genetic data, they hoped to uncover connections between the rulers, verify their familial relationships, and possibly identify the origins of genetic disorders that plagued the royal lineage for centuries. Success in this endeavor would pave the way for a more accurate understanding of Tutankhamun's heritage. In a highly regulated laboratory environment, researchers initiated the intricate procedure. The mummy of Tutankhamun, which had already been harmed due to previous excavations and weakened after centuries in the tomb, added an extra level of difficulty to their task. The arid and warm climate of Egypt frequently deteriorates genetic material, and any interference from present-day contact had the potential to compromise the outcomes. Each action needed to be exact, and every tool had to be sanitized. The job called for both meticulousness and caution. Gradually, bit by bit, they gathered sufficient genetic material from the young ruler for examination. In addition to his remains, they obtained DNA samples from various other royal mummies believed to be his relatives. Included in the sampling were the mysterious younger lady, a female mummy whose true identity had baffled scholars for years, and another suspected to be Akhenaten, the pharaoh who had caused significant turmoil in Egypt with his controversial religious changes. The objective was straightforward: constructing a genetic blueprint of the Amarna royal family. Throughout history, there had been debates surrounding Tutankhamun's lineage. While some thought he was Queen Nefertiti's child, others believed he was from a less prominent wife or a different royal lineage. Only DNA analysis could provide definitive answers. Excitement surged as the experiments progressed. With each new finding, scientists inched closer to solving mysteries that had been shrouded in secrecy for millennia. It was not merely a matter of identifying names or titles. The exploration went deeper, delving into hidden truths. For a long time, scholars had suspected that the custom of royal intermarriages, meant to keep bloodlines pure, could have led to genetic vulnerabilities. If the tests validated this theory, it might clarify the reasons behind Tutankhamun's numerous health issues, such as physical impairments and diseases, and the tragic loss of his two unborn daughters. Each strand of DNA represented a bridge between ancient times and the current era. The genetic material held tales that surpassed those found in any ancient inscription or artifact, recounting the love, authority, and vulnerability of a prominent dynasty in mankind's past. Thanks to advancements in scientific knowledge, Tutankhamun's mummified body was able to communicate the long-buried secrets that had existed within him for thousands of years. The hidden truth. In the year 2010, the world was amazed by the results of the DNA study on King Tutankhamun's lineage that had long been shrouded in mystery, myth, and speculation. Finally, after centuries, science provided clarity on the boy king's bloodline, reshaping history and uncovering a hidden truth from over 3,000 years ago. For years, scholars debated the true identity of Tutankhamun's parents. Some speculated that his mother could have been the famous Queen Nefertiti, while others considered the possibility of a lesser-known royal consort. However, the conclusive evidence provided by DNA tests eliminated any uncertainty. The results confirmed that Tutankhamun was indeed the offspring of Pharaoh Akhenaten, who attempted to establish the worship of a single sun god in Egypt. What was even more surprising was the revelation that his mother was actually Akhenaten's own sibling. This discovery shed new light on the lineage of the renowned pharaoh, revealing that he was the product of an incestuous relationship between brother and sister. This revelation caused a significant shift in historians' perceptions of him. It went beyond the realm of scandal involving royalty, shedding light on the mystery of his delicate physique, his various ailments, and his premature demise. Examination of his preserved body had already indicated serious physical issues, including a clubfoot causing him discomfort while walking, fragile bones prone to fractures, and other deformities contributing to his weakness. Subsequent DNA analysis confirmed his battle with malaria, further compromising his already fragile health. His suffering extended beyond mere infection or injury, finding its roots in his genetic makeup. The pharaoh's centuries-long practice of interbreeding within the royal family had inadvertently led to a weakening of their bloodline. Their obsession with maintaining power and purity had unwittingly passed down inherited diseases through generations. Tutankhamun's fragility stemmed not from destiny, but from a tradition that prioritized divine perfection over human well-being. The revelation brought a new perspective to the perception of the Amarna dynasty's demise. Tutankhamun was known for restoring Egypt's traditional beliefs and practices following his father's failed experiment. By reopening temples, reviving ancient gods' worship, and restoring stability, he was able to bring order back to his realm. However, the same royal lineage that granted him authority also marked the beginning of the dynasty's decline. Tutankhamun's frail, unhealthy body, marked by his lineage, was a symbol of the diminishing power of a once mighty dynasty. At approximately 19 years old, Tutankhamun passed away without any descendants, marking not just the death of a ruler, but the extinction of a lineage. The discovery of his two deceased daughters in his burial site served as evidence of the downfall of the royal family. While the opulent riches interred with him symbolized influence and prestige, the remains of Tutankhamun revealed a narrative of vulnerability and sorrow. But what does this mean for the future? Stick around to find out. The hidden legacy of a dynasty. Scientists and historians were amazed by the discovery of Tutankhamun's DNA. It completely altered their perspective. Previously seen as just a wealthy and mysterious figure, the boy king now represents much more. He is seen as a crucial figure in unraveling the complexities of ancient Egypt, including ambition, religion, and hidden family histories. Through the lens of science, his tale, which had been legendary, was brought back to life. The DNA findings actually increased rather than lessened the mystery surrounding him. Tutankhamun was more than just a mere historical figure or a golden face. He was a young individual whose existence was influenced by uncontrollable circumstances, born into a family with both godlike authority and undisclosed vulnerabilities. The revelation of his lineage as the offspring of Pharaoh Akhenaten and Akhenaten's sister showcased the consequences of maintaining pure royal bloodlines. This startling revelation exposed the fragile underpinnings of Egypt's renowned dynasty. Historians have always appreciated the splendor and organization of ancient Egyptian society, with their impressive temples, majestic statues, and monumental tombs serving as everlasting testaments. However, the DNA analysis revealed a different narrative, not etched in stone but in blood. It was revealed that the royal family's efforts to maintain their divine lineage had tragic biological implications. Tutankhamun's health issues, such as his clubfoot, bone ailments, and fragile physique, were not mere coincidences, but rather the result of repeated intermarriages within the family, where siblings wed each other and cousins were wed in order to ensure the bloodline remained intact. The young king's reliance on walking sticks, discovered in his tomb, was revealed to have a sorrowful reason. His frailty was not only physical, but also passed down through his ancestors. The same institution that elevated him to a divine status also doomed him to a life of suffering. His premature demise at around 19 not only marked the conclusion of his rule, but also signaled the end of a royal era that had endured for generations. Without any descendants, his lineage disappeared into the annals of history, leaving behind priceless treasures that were unable to shield the vulnerable human existence they were intended to celebrate. The discovery had implications that extended beyond just solving an old mystery. It marked the first instance of modern science delving into the past to reveal the personal details of a pharaoh's life from over 3,000 years ago. By utilizing DNA analysis, researchers were able to decode the untold narrative held within Tutankhamun's remains, shedding light on his lineage and the reasons behind his brief and troubled reign. The new discoveries about Tutankhamun added an intriguing layer to his narrative. Despite his royal status and grand appearances, he was fundamentally human, with weaknesses and struggles stemming from his father's religious changes. Tutankhamun faced the challenge of rebuilding Egypt's faith while enduring the physical ailments caused by his royal lineage. His passing not only signified the collapse of a dynasty, but also the conclusion of a costly attempt at achieving divine perfection. Today, people from all corners of the globe are still captivated by Tutankhamun's tomb, which attracts millions of visitors. The treasures found in his resting place, such as the gold mask, jeweled coffins, chariots, and intricate ornaments made for eternity, continue to impress and intrigue. However, the tale of Tutankhamun now holds a more profound significance, revealing the story of a young man whose bloodline determined both the rise and fall of an entire kingdom. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.